Thank you very much for the introduction. Indeed, that is what I will try to do. Thank you very much to the organizers for inviting us here. This is not our usual conference, type of conference that we go to. So let me start, as we are running late, I think. What I will be talking about, a little bit of the background of the company that I'm working in, the context that you are already quite familiar with, the changing environment, the new challenges that we have, and trying to show how the new technologies can help the insurance sector into tackling these new challenges that we are facing. So really fast, we are a Romanian-based company. Our offices are in Bucharest. We've been working for 11 years now, 10, 11 years. We basically use geospatial information, including Earth observation data, to extract information, and afterwards to build products and services, mainly. And now we are transforming, and we are working online as well. We have some good experience for the last 3 years with building exploitation platforms in a more common language, the cloud technology, but these are especially designed for Earth observation data. And of course, we're also building our own algorithms, and we also have some educational software development and so on. We are working with a wide range of, let's say, clients. We are working with Romanian public authorities. We are also working with national space agencies. We are working with the European Space Agency, with the German Space Agency, with NASA. We also had some collaborations, and with financial institutions such as the World Bank, Inter-American Development Bank, and so on. We work in Central Eastern Europe. The projects that we develop are in this area, but we have also, like to say, demonstrated our expertise in more challenging environments such as Haiti, Colombia, Mexico, Panama, and so on. It's no secret, and this is why we are in this point when we have NAT and Reinsurance conference. Our environment is changing, and this changing climate is triggering all kind of extreme events, and they are increasing in frequency and intensity. This is, for example, one product that we did related to the Paradise fire. We have also monitored the fires in Romania, in Apuseni. Well, if we are to look a little bit at the context, the number of disaster per disaster type at global scale, the source is the Center for Research on the Epidemiology of Disasters, and we can see that for all of these types, the numbers are significantly increasing. Although I do have to draw your attention to the fact that the international community at this point has a much better capacity of actually monitoring and entering into statistics these events. So one example in that direction is, for example, the Sendai Framework for Disaster Risk Reduction. This is an initiative from the United Nations. It has a global risk assessment framework. They have some targets that they're trying to accomplish for 195 countries. I highly recommend you to look into their this inventory. It is constructed for all 195 countries, and they're trying to to offer some statistics related to the disasters. This is a good tool, I believe, as United Nations is working with public authorities in these countries. It's a good idea because, as Ms. Natalia Mann was mentioning at the beginning, at the first presentation, the collective memory doesn't really work that well. We had the popular, unfortunately, the notorious tornado in Romania, but we also had one in 2002 as well. And in fact, in Europe, tornadoes have been monitored since the 19th century. For example, we also had in Romania one in 1912. And actually, about 5 or 6 people died. A lot of villages were destroyed. A lot of people injured. So it's not. Indeed, events are becoming more frequent, but it's not extremely unheard of, including these geographical region. Anyway, going back to this kind of monitoring infrastructures that we have. The typical available information is more on physical damage and human impact and less on economic losses of specific assets and infrastructure, cultural heritage, unfortunately, and disruption to services.
Could just stop you for a second?
Yeah.
Because we're running out of time, so you are kind of on the receiving end of this. May I ask you to actually fast forward to the technology part, which is relevant to the reinsurance, because we sort of like from this community, we kind of know about what publishes what.
Okay.
So you don't have to tell us again, but tell us what you do.
Okay.
What is your value added? Thank you.
Thank you. Then I would best go directly to this one and skip really fast. So Earth observation is a domain. And it is represented by gathering all the information about our planet, physical, chemical, and biological systems. When you think about Earth observation, don't think only about satellites. It's all the way that we can observe these environmental parameters. Why is it important? Because Earth observation offers qualitative and quantitative information for large areas that mostly are not accessible by traditional means or economically accessible. Because the temporal resolution is very high, meaning that temporal resolution is defined by the time that the satellite needs to get on top of the exact same point on Earth. So every time it's registering information from the exact same place. So for example, for Romania, the revisiting time of Sentinel-2, one of the most used missions, is 5 days. So from 2015, we have images of Romania every 5 days. Another very important aspect related to the technological advance is the fact that the data structure for Earth observation makes this kind of data very well appropriate for data mining, processing, and for machine learning algorithms for information extraction, which is a very important element. And another important thing is related to the fact that the satellite sensors are built as to continue the missions that have ended. For example, that I've mentioned Sentinel-2, this can be seen as a continuation of an American mission, which is Landsat. First Landsat was launched in 1972, so you can imagine the data archive that is at the disposals of researchers and, of course, of everyone interested in these kind of technologies. If you have any kind of doubt that we don't have Earth observation data, this is an interesting page. It's Sky and the Earth. I don't know if you can see it. And these are all the Earth observation satellites that are actually on the orbit right now. These also includes the weather satellites. And for a clearer view, this is how it looked like yesterday at 11 o'clock. So it presents a real-time position of all Earth observation satellites. And now to the main point of this talk. There are 3 ways that Earth observation can offer a technological edge to the insurance sector. And these are the three main types of activities. First is related to the risk modeling, then to the event footprint, and then to the parametric product. And this is a very general and an attempt of ours to conclude and to show as clearly and concise but general as possible what are the possible applications for each of the three elements. So insurance companies have always done risk modeling using various types of data, statistical, meteo, and so on. Earth observation has entered into this arena pretty recently, and they've mostly used in order to help calibrate the models and to refine the hypothesis, because the images of the post-event actually help to see how to help to refine the results that went out of the model. And also they can be used as input in digital models. You can imagine a risk modeling for flood. You can use the digital elevation model of the terrain. And as benefits, of course, looking at the high accuracy of risk models, it helps improve that accuracy and better control of financial risk. The event footprint, this is one of the most popular at this point. It offers a comprehension vision of the affected area. As I mentioned, it gives access to large areas that otherwise would be difficult to assess. The aim of using Earth observation in this situation is not necessarily into completely eliminating the agents that actually go on the field in order to assess the claims, but better to help the insurer to organize and plan its campaigns in situations of crisis, because it can have, in a matter of 24 hours or depending on the situation, it can have a clear view on the extent of the damage. So this is more on the related to the event footprint, and related to the parametric products. Actually, these have been attempts in this direction since 1990. Mostly, they have been driven by agriculture insurance, and it was driven by the desire of accessing new populations for the insurance products to expand the market accessible. The markets that are accessible in remote areas. They have been developed mostly for South America, for Africa, and for Asia. And the basic idea is that computing an index based on image analysis, obtaining the parametric product. You can imagine here, for example, soil moisture, or that leads to understanding the drought parameters. It is automatically linked to the loss, to the payment of loss, meaning that if the parameter shows in a certain region that it has surpassed a defined threshold, then automatically the farmer gets paid. So this is basically the idea related to the parametric products. These are some products that we have worked on. This is an extraction of a water mask using radar data at that point. This is related to water ponding. I will not insist here. The idea is that from the satellite we can actually calculate all kind of parameters that would help an insurer. This is an analysis for a burned area, so we can extract the exact extent, the area. We can overlay it with properties on that place, with houses, so on and so forth. This is I heard earlier related to the deformation on a vertical. This is from a project that we developed in Bucharest, and we monitored Bucharest deformation on the Z scale for to understand and to see which is what is going up and what is going down. Just as a side mention, I know that, for example, the Netherlands have an operational system, I think it's in place for the last 15 years or more, to monitor the dikes using this radar data that is actually helping them see the subsidence or the uplift. I'd like just to draw your attention on the fact that what the sensor senses is even more than what the human eye can sense, because the differences are in millimeters. So I think it is very, very useful. Okay, this is just a representation that we did for the Parliament House. I will not insist. And the last slide is related to what Earth observation, and not only Earth observation, but geospatial and insurance, the possibility of implementations. And I might be biased, I'm not saying, but for a sector that is so intimately connected to location, to geography, and it is intimately and very highly dependent on the evolution of the environment and the way that things are changing. I think the necessity, or I think that usage of geographical information system could be a significant technological edge. But again, I might be biased. So these are just a few lines that we extracted related to what geospatial information and what Earth observation can bring to the insurance sector. So I think this was the last slide. Yes, thank you.
Thank you, Codrina.